Welcome everyone, Madman bringing another RSL video. So today we're going to talk about this deck of Fate. So let's just take a quick look at it. I'm nowhere near it, not going to do it, and it is what it is. Now it feels really pricey. It feels that way, and I get you, right? Slightly elevated, but not too much. Slightly elevated points there for dungeon divers versus a typical dungeon diver point threshold. The shards here, ouch, like 1600 instead of 2250 there, or 5000 that we normally get for a sacred. I want to say 1700 for like a primal. Anyway, these points seem rather low, and then oh my god, the soulstone points are pitiful. 70, 700, 3500. This was like 5000. This was 1000, and this was 100. So they kind of set that standard. But let's remember one thing. Now the roids aren't that great, right? I mean, you got one legendary tome, 3 of each type of chaos ore. You got some middle essence there, some big essence or oils. Sorry, I don't know if to some maybe this epic tome was worthwhile, and in game it's not. Same with the rare; it's just collecting dust. So very few rewards themselves are worth anything considering what you're going to put into it. But then you're also getting a void legendary champion. And what I'm going to show you, I mean, it surprised me, so it may or may not surprise you. Well, it's just kind of crazy there. But we're going to go over to the handy dandy spreadsheet, and I'll further explain. Alright, so here we are at the spreadsheet. I hope to God you guys can see this or not. But just real quick up here, these are just kind of the campaign numbers. Then Spider 20, Dragon, Ice Golem, and Fire Knight 20, based on 5-star rare artifacts up to 6-star legendary. Then your points, and then how many runs and energy and all of that you get for standard dungeon run events, and then the points you would get actually for dungeon divers. And then same thing here for hard mode. But the important one thing here is it's right here in the middle, right? So this is normal, right? This is your standard dungeon diver stuff points, but this is the current deck of fate points thrown in, and then on hard mode as well. Now what you're going to see here is, okay, a typical fusion, think about a fusion now, lately has had 3 dungeon diver runs. And so that's 3,700 points. And then typically, roughly, I've been averaging about 10 sacreds, 10 voids, and 50 ancients to complete Summon Rush and or Champ Chase. It's gonna vary depending on what you have available and whatnot. Champ Chases are getting a little bit easier because there might be a Prism or a Remnant that you can pull, or you can grab an old Fragment Fusion and pull it off for some easy points. You can fuse together Relic Keeper or Broadmar, whatever, some easy points there. So a little bit easier there, but I'm gonna base those off being the average. So that's the points breakdown. Here's the total points here, and we end up with 24,250 points if you pull that many shards off of a typical fusion. And then if you look here real quick, so 3,700 point dungeon diver points, right? Takes 303 runs typically. So what I need to do, and this is based off of the Deck of Fate points, that's 254 runs. So what we want to do is get how many points it takes until we're doing roughly 303 runs. So 302.71, we're shy a little bit there, but it's close enough. So 4,400 points. And we multiply that times 3, and we end up with 37,450 points. So we just did, say, both Summon Rush and Champ Chase and the 3 Dungeon Divers, and we're at 3,700 points. Now, we don't get to do Arena or Artifact enhancements whatsoever during this Deck of Fate, but our points left over is only 2,550, which means we either pull on 37 mortals or 4 immortals to make up that difference that we're not getting from the other. So that's not much. What's happening? They've adjusted the points so that this Deck of Fate is basically like doing a fusion, but in 3 days. The difficulty is you're not doing 1, you're doing 3 Dungeon Diver amounts worth of points in 3 days. Normally 1 is 3 to 4 days. That's what makes it difficult. And they want you to supplement that with either pulling shards or soul stones, in this particular case, to make up for the fact that you're probably not going to be able to run Dungeon Divers that fast. Now, some people can, some people can't, depending on what means of time you have available to you. So, but there you go. I mean, God, I hope you guys can see this number. I mean, it's clear to me right now, but, you know, in the recordings, who knows how well it's going to show up there. So they just crammed a 2-week fusion into 3 days. And then you have to determine, was the champion worth it or not? The other big part of the problem is we're in the middle of already doing a fusion. So doing a fusion while doing a fusion is a lot of resources. And there will be no time to recover, because you know there will be a 5-star soul coming up and then another fusion starting shortly thereafter. So, but are they ripping us off? No, they're actually not. Not any more than they are, you know, on a typical fusion, as they've slowly just keep increasing, and they've settled in on some stuff for now. But you notice every now and then, like the last one, they added the Hero's Path, and made it challenging, I will say. But hopefully that was insightful. Just wanted to pass that along real quick. If you wanted to get this champion, you're not getting ripped off any more so than if you're doing a standard fusion. But they're highly restricting your resources or making you eat them up even faster, so that you feel more inclined to purchase more resources once the next fusion comes up, because you're not going to be able to recover fast enough. Simple as that. But information passed on. Have a nice day.